All right, week 3, we go to 1-1. A win is a win is a win. I don't think we ever have to apologize for winning around here. That was a better Jim Thorpe team than people gave him credit for. That's a tougher road game. You know, if people played sports, you know that when you get on that bus, you could easily fall asleep in that chair. You got out. It takes you a good hour and a half to kind of get in game mode. Andrew Allen, for give out MVP or Gritty awards, he got it. He came through. Huge scramble in the fourth quarter, and also huge on special teams field goal. So what are you most proud of in terms of this victory?
Yeah, the mental toughness. It wasn't easy. I think you and I discussed potentially last week or the week before about how difficult coming off a home opener against a state-ranked team going to Jim Thorpe would be. Very similar to going to Lehigh in week 6, is that same type of trap game. But Jim Thorpe had really good skill guys. We talked about that last week, having a half dozen guys who made plays against Palmerton. Quarterback was over 4,000-yard passer, was their best athlete, and they taxed us, but we only gave up 1 touchdown. Bent a little bit. Statistically, the game was even. And offensively, it was more unique than any game I coached in. We had 5 possessions throughout the entire game. Scored on 3 of the 5 possessions, but only 5 possessions is very bizarre. But our kids sort of fought through. We didn't turn the ball over. Penalties didn't kill us. Made only a few errors in penalties. And overall, played a much cleaner game and really a much, like you said, grittier game.
Now, they always say the best improvements from week 1 to week 2. How would you rate your improvement?
Yeah, I definitely think we improved. We were steadier. Our communication was better. We didn't have very many communication busts. But yeah, I was pleased with a road win week 2. You have to be. Now we, league win. We're 1-0 in the league. We go to Tamaqua this week, and it's a chance to get to 2-0 in the league, and a chance to certainly feel better about ourselves than we did last year. We left here playing Tamaqua.
So before we move on, I just want to thank our sponsors. ET Trophy Shop has all of your trophy needs. They are your friendly neighborhood trophy shop since 1989. March Lutz Advisors. Make sure to give Darren a call with any of your financial planning concerns. LVHN, where setbacks become comebacks. Nothing is more evident than my son who went up there with a bump on the head. A week later, he is good to go. They were incredibly caring and incredible service up there. Penn Star Stone and Concrete, you name it, and they'll add stone to it. Phoenix Rehab, I don't need to remind you guys how they got me back to fighting shape. It's where you can recover, recharge, and rise. And Wiener Iron and Metal. If you have any cans or anything laying around, take it down there, turn it in for a little change in your pocket. So again, thank you to all our sponsors. Without you, this isn't possible. So we're going to exercise some demons. I don't know if you remember, we did the week 3 show from here last year, prior to Tamaqua game. Tamaqua game, obviously, one of those games that is probably in your crawl. You said that week 1. But I think in a lot of ways that game was a turning point, good and bad. I think it was bad, obviously, because of the way we lost, but good in terms of that. I think it gave you confidence that you could play against a 3-0 team and really should have won that game.
Yeah, they ended up being a 7-win Eastern Conference Championship team, and we talked before about Tamaqua. Every 5 or 6 years has that run of kids come through. Last year certainly was that run. They had a tremendous group of seniors and a lot of seniors. Sam Bonner does a wonderful job. You know that. He's been there for a long time. He loves the weight room. The kids are very well schooled. When you watch them defensively, where they line up, how they compete, what their offensive line does, and they make very few errors. A very well coached football team, football program, and we're going to get a very scrappy, tough, aggressive Tamaqua defense on Friday night. They're really good there, and offensively they have some newcomers, some younger kids that make plays for them, but it's certainly a challenge and a road game, and it's one of the few places, Tamaqua, that I have never played or coached a football game.
Oh, get out.
Well, I played a midget football all-star game back there in about 6th grade.
Much different field now.
But I've never been there as a high school football coach, as a player or coach, which is, I've seen quite a few stadiums in District 11 and 2 and 4, and to not have been at Tamaqua is a little bizarre. So we're looking forward to the opportunity.
And again, that's another game up 209. How do you keep the kids fresh? I think those are part of the things that people don't see is you have to think about that in terms of as a coach. It's not just the football stuff. You have to think about, all right, what time do we leave and what time do we get there, and the kind of the routine to keep them kind of. So they have the energy to play the game.
Yes, I feel like this one's different. I feel like, with our relationship with Tamaqua and other sports, in basketball and baseball and track and wrestling, I feel like our kids are real comfortable with Tamaqua. They know their kids more. So it's, it feels like an older rivalry than Jim Thorpe does. So I think our kids will be excited about going up. I really do. I feel like, after last year's game, I think it's, be a challenge for us. But I don't feel like getting the kids emotionally ready to play and physically ready to play this week is going to be an issue at all.
I always laugh, and I think I might have told this story before. In college, we played Johns Hopkins, and we went down the night before, and then we ate. They have a really good cafeteria there, and we went and we just ate like pigs before the game, and then we got to the game and we just felt terrible. And then 2 years later, our coach, we went to Old Country Buffet, which was worse, but he was convinced the reason we lost that game, he said we ate ourselves out of the game, which we might have, but I don't know if Old Country Buffet would have been better. Going back to the Jim Thorpe game, and we talked about that field goal by Andrew Allen. One thing that I think a lot of fans we take for granted is the snapping and holding. Yes. And that's a lot of pressure on a high school kid, and for something that seems very routine. How much importance do you put on special teams?
Well, we do field goal PAT every single day, and my rationale is you have a chance to score points every time you line up for that. So that's really important. We do our field goal PATs. We move the hashes and do field goal. We time it, make sure it's as close to 1-4 as possible from snap to kick. So it's really, really important. And actually, the irony is, Andrew really struggled during the week of practice, more so than he has throughout his career. The last 2 weeks, hasn't been, we feel like his toe is up instead of his toe being flatter, and he was pulling things, and he seemed out of whack. And I actually had a conversation with Christian, because Christian Alvarez can kick as well.
Yeah.
Say, hey, listen, might need to pull you out of the bullpen this week a little bit. I know you have a lot going on offensively and defensively, but and Andrew missed the first one. So going into it, for it to be as perfect as it was really, almost bizarre, because he was really struggling. But we have confidence, obviously, and Brody Arrow's our long snapper, Brody Herndon's our holder, and then, the battery was really, really good. It was perfect kick from 31, probably could have made it from close to 45.
Now, you don't use the old shoe anymore, or do you?
No, he's a soccer style. A lot of these kids played soccer.
Yeah.
They grew up kicking balls down the Gordon Knoll Trail.
Yeah.
So a lot of our guys can kick soccer.
I remember when I was a water boy, that was always a thing. Find a shoe people don't remember the shoe. It was like 50 years old. Sure. And then,
But the square toe adds 10 yards to your kick.
Does it?
I mean, George Cody, former All-State kicker at Pottsville here, will tell you that. I had Colin Menapace at Mount Carmel use it in the 2008 season, and he kicked 1 million extra points, and he would play tight end. He can run it over. They run the shoe out. He tie it up with the hash or number, go in there, and when you get a hold with the shoe, that ball goes. So but it was all bent up, and I don't think they make them anymore.
I don't even know where you would. I haven't seen one in forever.
Yeah, but there's one laying around down here somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So never know when you have to blow the dust off it.
Now, Coach, I watched a couple plays on Huddle. I didn't break down film, but this is just my. We could block an extra point. We're there.
Yeah.
I just want to put it out there. I think we're going to block an extra point.
I hope so.
The rushers, they're there. I think they just got to,
We're there. Our special teams has been good. We talked about field goal PAT, but our kickoff coverage team, they run down like they have rabies. They do a great job of that. Andrew had a 56-yard punt the other night, which switched field position in the second half. I mean, I can't overlook that. And I feel like, as we go on through the season, we'll make, plays in the return games as well. But, we do focus on every day. We do field goal PAT every day to start practice. And then we do kick games on kickoff and punt on Tuesday, and then kickoff return and punt return on Wednesday. And then we do it all again, everything over again on Thursday. So we have focus every day on special teams for a period of time.
Yeah, and the thing about special teams is, look, you could score an 80-yard touchdown, interception touchdown, and they're great and they're exciting, but nothing is as exciting as a kickoff return,
no doubt,
or any kind of a block punt. And those special teams units, they really kind of are the heart and soul of the team in a lot of ways.
No doubt. And don't forget the kickoff return by Shea Stankowski put us at midfield in that last drive where we got the field goal. Shea played a heck of a game this week.
Yeah, he did.
In all aspects, he really did. His blocking was stellar. He had the touchdown catch, his first career touchdown catch. He had the interception. He had the kickoff return. He was very physical as the game went on in the perimeter run game by Jim Thorpe. But him and I had a lot of talks about what happened a week before.
Mm-hmm.
He's a young man. He's aggressive. He's a tough kid. He's competitive as can be. He works hard. He's one of our hardest workers here in the off season and in season. So for him to really tighten his belt and to come back and play as well as he did this week and really take that step shows a lot about his character and his mental toughness.
Coach, last question. Lineman, when you were playing pickup football out, wherever you played, what position were you? Were you always a lineman?
No, I used to throw and catch and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah.
All right.
No doubt.
Did you ever think that you were going to be like a QB or a wide receiver? Or like when did reality set in?
Never. I always liked the offensive line. It was sort of our thing, and from midget football on. And, I spoke before, we had a great midget football organization in this community. And these guys are doing a great job again, bringing that back and getting kids involved. The Bobby Bayers and the Matt Roddenbushes and all the coaches won a championship last year. Our 5th and 6th grade team, Tyson Parsons as a head coach won the championship.
He's a heck of a turkey ball player too.
But it's really good. But we learned at a young age, where we sort of belonged. Kirk Smith was my head coach of the Falcons, and we won some championships. But they taught you how to be tough, and I knew from early on I was going to be a lineman. And I loved it. You sort of embraced that.
Oh, absolutely.
And I love coaching these guys. Our offensive line is really, really good. It's one of the strengths of our team.
Absolutely.
Andrew wasn't touched here on that. Our protection was almost flawless. We work extremely hard, especially on Wednesdays. But every day we work on Wednesdays, we really amp up the pass protection stuff. And, so I feel like, those linemen, our upfront guys are doing a really good job. And they have to continue to be able to control games as we get better.
All right, Coach. Well, let's exercise the demons and roll tide. Thank you.
Sounds good, buddy.